Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I'm back with my next instalment of my Craft Favourites 2016 series, and today I'm going to be looking at colouring. Colouring is one of my most favourite things to do, that's why this video is a little bit on the longer side than the others, but I hope you enjoy watching. So first of all, my most used colouring medium of all time is Copic Markers. I absolutely love Copic Markers. I found them in one of my local art shops and they had the chows, and I kind of bought a few, see how I liked them, found out that I really liked them, and then over the next couple of years I invested and bought all of the whole set. I really like the chows, but the sketch come in a more variety of colours. They come in all 358 colours, so I decided to buy the sketches and sort of stopped buying the chows, but I do have a combination of both still. What I really like about Copic Markers is that they just blend so easily together. They have a brush tip on one side and a chisel tip on the other, and like I said, I absolutely love them. They just blend really well together. I do think that they are worth the investment. I do know that there are other alcohol markers on the market that are cheaper, but personally I will always recommend Copic Markers. I definitely think that they are worth the extra money, and they are refillable as well, which is really good. I do have a list of colours that are my most used over on my blog because I do get asked that quite often, but I definitely think it just depends on what kind of images you're going to be colouring, whether you're going to be colouring people or you're going to be colouring critters or anything like that, or grass scenes, anything like that. So it does depend, but I have got a list of my favourite ones over on my blog. I really enjoyed colouring more backgrounds this year, sort of branching out into whole sort of panels of colouring, and I've also was lucky enough to get given a Copic airbrush system as well, and so I've really enjoyed using that. But I really love just still doing simple Copic colouring with cute little critter images and things. Just absolutely love Copic Markers, and I'm sure that I'll be using them for years and years to come as well. Next up is coloured pencils, and I've really enjoyed using the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils this year. I did go ahead and buy the 60 set. I do have some open stock as well, and I probably bought an extra 15. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're going to buy a set of them. This set does come in a wide range of colours, but it doesn't have many greys in there, so I did buy quite a few extra greys, and then I bought some purples and some kind of skin toned colours as well, just because I felt that I needed them as extra. And with coloured pencils, I do probably recommend that buy the biggest set that you can afford, just because of all the different range of colours. But I really love Faber-Castell pencils. They're oil based and they just blend really well together. Next up is the Derwent Colour Soft pencils. This is the British version of the Prismacolor pencils. They are a waxed based pencil, and as you can tell by the name, they are just really soft. They are softer than the Prismacolor pencils, and I just really love these as well. Like I said, they are just slightly different from the Polychromos in that they are waxed based, but also because they are just really soft. So if I'm colouring an image and I want to have like this line look like I'm doing here, I tend to go for the Polychromos just because they are a harder type of pencil and I really like the look that they give with the lines. But if I want to do a really soft kind of blend with pencils, then I'll go ahead and grab the colour soft ones. I don't tend to use mineral spirits and things like that with coloured pencils that often these days, but they work really well with both of these type of pencils, and I tend to go for Gamsol if I'm using some. But this year I tended to go with the more of the line look, and I did quite a few cards with the no line colouring technique as well, and I really enjoyed colouring these cards here. Next up, I did quite a bit of watercolouring this year, really enjoyed watercolouring, and I decided to invest in some Winsor & Newton professional watercolour tubes, and I did get quite a few last Christmas actually for presents as well. These are the 5mm tubes, and basically I go for the 5mm just because they're more affordable, but you can actually get quite a bit of paint in these tubes, which is really nice. So I buy them in the tubes and then I decant them into a palette just because I find that that's the best way for me to use them personally. So I bought a empty palette, and then I also bought the half pans that you can add into it, and then I just kind of add some of the paint into the half pan and let it dry, and then I can add it into the palette here. They stick in really well. As you can see, I'm struggling to get one of the pans out, but like I said, just squeeze a little bit in there, and then I just put a label on the back just so that I know which colour it is. And these re-wet really easily. They are highly pigmented, and you really don't need much paint to water ratio with these professional ones. Really enjoyed using them this year. I do often get asked which brushes I use for watercolouring, and I always say the Winsor & Newton Cotman brushes. I do have other brands, but these are my go-to brushes. These are as a student brand for Winsor & Newton, just because they're synthetic. All of their professional ones are real hair, but personally I just prefer the synthetic ones, and these ones are really good synthetic as well. They do hold quite a bit of water. So like I said, really enjoyed using these paints this year. I do really like them with the Bristol, not the Bristol, I do apologise, Archie's watercolour paper, and they just blend really well on that paper. Next up, for more watercolouring medium, I really like the Zicklin Colour Real brush pens. I personally use them for watercolouring, but you can use them to just blend with each other as well as a dry look. They have a real brush tip, which is really nice and really good for sort of tip-to-tip techniques and different things like that. This is my whole collection. I have them in a candle holder from IKEA. If you were to use them without water, you would probably want to have a larger selection than I have, but I bought them in the knowing that I would just use them with water, because that's really how I wanted to use them. I use them with the Bristol Smooth cardstock quite a bit because they blend really easily on that cardstock, and as you can see, even though those two colours are quite far apart in terms of tone and colour, they blend really well together. But like I said, I like to use them with water. I do find that you kind of want to bring in the water quite quickly with these pens because they do dry quite quickly. However, with the Bristol cardstock, they tend to sit on the surface for a bit longer. That's why I quite like using them with the Bristol Smooth. I find that the Zicklin Colour Real brush markers are a really highly pigmented colour, and I really like the bright vibrancy of the colours as opposed to some of the other watercolour pens that I own, and they are a pretty good price point. Like I said, I bought them all separately, but you can get them in packs as well. So next up, for watercolouring again, I really like the Tim Holtz Distress inks. I absolutely love these for blending techniques, and that's obviously probably what they're most known for, but I really love them for watercolouring as well. And the little cubes are really great for watercolouring because obviously you've got loads of different colours that you can get with them, and they're a little bit cheaper than the larger pads. So although I have videos showing how I use them, I do tend to just add a little bit of the ink onto a non-stick surface, and then you pick it up with a water brush. This is a water brush or a brush with water, however you want to use it, and just colour with them. And again, I really like using them with the Bristol Smooth cardstock, Bristol Smooth cardstock, but I really like using them with the Distress watercolour cardstock as well because they work really well with that. And again, I really liked using the no line technique this year, and so did some watercolouring with those. And also I just really like them for ink blending in general and adding sort of water to them to make really nice effects. So last but not least is the Peerless watercolours. Again, really enjoyed watercolouring this year. I have added the Peerless watercolours into a kind of DIY pad, which I really like. I have been told that originally I think that you were supposed to take a little bit off of the sheet, like cut the sheet up and add it to a little bowl of water, and then use the pigment that comes out of the sheet that way. Personally, I just go in with a brush and take it from the sheet itself. So these are pigment added into a fabric sheet. It kind of feels like paper, but I believe it's fabric. But like I said, like I'm doing here in the video, I actually just pick it up from the sheet and then again watercolor with it that way. That's personally how I really like to use it. Again, they are really vibrant colors, which I really like. So obviously I have got the variety of using different mediums with different images. Again, really nice with the Bristol Smooth cardstock, but really good with any other watercolor paper as well. and I did order these from the US. They are quite difficult to get hold of in the UK, but worth the investment of getting them sent over from the US. And like I said, I just keep them in this little folder here that I made, and obviously really good for traveling if you want to travel with watercolors, and really great for storage as well, just because they're so thin and they just fit in a drawer really easily. So really enjoyed using those this year. And again, I do have videos showing how I use them on my YouTube channel and also on my blog, but I really like using them for images with embossing and also on backgrounds as well. So that was a look at my favourite colouring mediums of 2016. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Links to the products will be down in the description bar on YouTube and also on my blog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.